All right, well, the new Superman movie's official release date is tomorrow. Yeah, we are less than 24 hours away, with some theaters doing showings even today. The movie, of course, filmed right here in the city of Cleveland, and the Superman comics were actually first created here as well. But Superman is not the only Cleveland comic. Our Dave Chudowsky got the chance to sit down with Ted Sikora, the man behind Hero Tomorrow Comics.
Well, good morning, Ted. I want to thank you so much for being here, and I'm really excited about this. Everyone's excited about Superman, but boy, there's so much more out there.
Yeah, well, we've been working on this for 15 years, Cleveland's comic book universe.
And it is based in Cleveland. It is a comic world universe in Cleveland, Ohio.
100%.
And where did that idea come from?
Well, I grew up in Cleveland, and I was a blood courier for years when I was in college, so I got to drive to all the hospitals, I got to know all the streets, and when my friend Milo Miller and I made a feature film about a comic book creator, it was called Hero Tomorrow, we decided to make the book that would have been in the main character's head, and we set it in Cleveland because that's what we know and love.
So I'm guessing you grew up a big fan of comics?
100%.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So take me back to the beginning.
Yeah, I was a big Spider-Man fan.
Okay.
And I always loved the relatability of Peter Parker. And we tried to do that with Apama. So like our guy, you know, in Apama, he drives an ice cream truck on the west side of Cleveland for a living. So my father used to have a tire store. He's kind of based on guys I used to change tires with. I wanted a very kind of blue collar is almost a compliment to our Ilya.
Mm-hmm. So Spider-Man inspired you?
Absolutely.
Okay. And let's, everyone, so they can understand, this is something that you don't have to go back in history, right? It's a clean slate with the heroes and villains. You started this from the beginning.
Yeah, so one of the advantages we have as an independent comic book company is, you know, when you open our first issue, there are no superheroes, there are no villains. You get the origin of the first one. Issue 2, we bring in the first villain, and it grows brick by brick. And so, you know, there's no trying to catch up with 70 years of history.
Mm-hmm. Is it, so it's villain versus villain in a lot of cases?
Yeah, we have a lot of anti-heroes. So in Apama, we introduced the tap dance killer. She's a mega talented actor who gets cast in a horror show musical at Near West Theater, by the way. And there's a supernatural event that locks Nikki mentally in the role, and she starts wiping out Cleveland's mafia. So the quick description is kind of Punisher meets Rocky Horror Picture Show. So she's not like the squeaky clean hero, and they formed this troupe called the Vaudevillains, and that spun into our new series Punchline and the Vaudevillains, which Punchline's about a heavyweight boxer who becomes a superpowered clown assassin.
This is your #1 seller.
Tap Dance Killer is.
Yeah, so that's it. And how many titles and issues do you have?
We have 4 separate titles within the same universe, and there's 24 issues to date.
Okay, and there's a film?
Well, the film Hero Tomorrow, yeah, which spawned the whole thing.
Okay, and you are from Broadview Heights originally, now in Akron?
Correct.
So you take a lot of pride, obviously, in your hometown.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you know, for someone who's not necessarily in the comic book world, why, it's a big deal. I mean, it is a very popular thing. For people who aren't as familiar with it, how big is the comic book world?
Well, I mean, there's conventions all over the country, really all over the world. But, you know, in 2 weeks, I'll be at San Diego Comic-Con. San Diego is actually where we debuted the Hero Tomorrow film. And, you know, I mean, you look at, obviously we're here because of the Superman movie. You know, it's just, the pop culture infiltration by comic books is everywhere. So, yeah, having this niche that takes place in Cleveland, you know, even when I do shows, Comic-Cons in New York, or, you know, I'm going to New Orleans this weekend, people dig the vibe of Cleveland in a comic book world, even if they're not from Cleveland, because it's unique.
It is unique, no question about it. You know, as a filmmaker, what is it like to see classics like Superman in the big screen like we're seeing here? I'm
super excited to see the Superman movie. I have a lot of faith in James Gunn. I think, like Cleveland's Russo brothers, he really gets the humanity side of the characters, which I think when the superhero films don't do well, I think that's what they're really missing.
We have to go, but before we go, I just want to know, what is your favorite of everything you've done?
These are like kids, you know. I get asked that a lot. You know, had it not been for Apama, there'd be no Tap Dance Killer. And then Bloom is this weird story that I partially lived. You know, you can start with anything in our universe. We always make sure that there's an on-ramp. But yeah, I couldn't.
I had to ask. I
appreciate it.
But you have a big fan base. I mean, we see all of the reviews here, and want to thank you so much for being here. And hey, let's enjoy the movies.
Sounds great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming in.
Wow. And it's so cool to see that people are buying those comic books because people love Cleveland.
Right. Yeah, that's just the thing, is that Cleveland is showcased not just in the comic books, but in all the movies as well. And I'll tell you, there's so many things that Cleveland shows up in that you're unaware of until you have these interviews and stuff like that. But we are represented all over the world.
Are you going to go tomorrow to see the release?
I can't get out of the house.
Yeah, you've got kids. You've got
freedom. You're heading out.
I
Right?
do. I might go see it, but I kind of just want to see it just to see all the sights of Cleveland in it, you know?
I think a
That'd be
lot
cool.
of people are going to be in tune with that. I grew up with the old Superman, you know, watching with my parents, Lex Luthor and Gene Hackman and all that, Christopher Reeve. So, yeah, I'll see it eventually, probably when it gets out on, you know, Netflix or whatever it is.